ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session. Today is August 21st, 2026. We are in the 537th session and we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 11, the Beḍā-kīrtana pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. So we were reading yesterday that Rāmānanda Rāya, after glorifying Prataprudra Maharaj, and then after that, how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that anyone who loves a devotee, he must receive. It is certain that he will be accepted by Krishna, because King Prataprudra Maharaj had so much affection for Rāmānanda Rāya. It is certain that Prataprudra Maharaj will certainly be accepted by Lord Krishna. After this, Rāmānanda Rāya offered his obeisances to the devotees who were with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First of all, he offered Dandavat obeisances at the lotus feet of all the sannyasis like Paramananda Puri, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Nityananda Prabhu, and Brahmananda Bharati, like that. Then, according to their position or relationship, he greeted all the other devotees, offered obeisances and greeted as per their position. Okay. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked a question that, my dear Rai, have you taken darshan of the lotus-eyed one? Who's the lotus-eyed one? Jagannath. So Rāmānanda Rāya said, I'm going to go now to take darshan. Then Mahaprabhu said, what have you done, Rāmānanda Rāya? You haven't taken darshan of the Lord. Why have you come here first before taking darshan of Lord Jagannath? Then Rāmānanda Rāya said, my feet are the chariot. My heart is the driver, chariot driver. So that means the living entity, right? I just go wherever the chariot driver takes me. The rathi means the passenger in the chariot. He will go wherever the driver takes him. So the chariot is the legs, what do you say? Heart is the chariot driver, and the living entity is the passenger. He will go wherever the chariot driver takes him, or his heart, wherever his heart takes him. So Mahaprabhu's question was, why have you come to me first before taking darshan of Lord Jagannath? And Rāmānanda Rāya's answer is, my heart is the chariot driver of this body. My legs are the chariot. This body is the chariot, okay? And the legs are the wheels of the chariot. So they will go wherever the chariot driver takes the chariot. So the living entity gets carried by the chariot driver here and there. So what does that mean? So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that in Bhagavad Gita, we see Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam hṛdaya arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. That means the Lord as Paramatma is situated in the heart of all living entities. And this body is like a machine. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. And the living entity is seated on this machine. Which machine? This body. Just like there's a car. Or here, take the same example, chariot. So the passenger in the chariot is the living entity. And in the chariot is the passenger, but also there is the Supreme Lord present in the heart in the form of Paramatma. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The living entities, so what is the role of Paramatma then? He is directing the wanderings of all living entities. How? So the Paramatma is deciding where you should go, what you should do. So then if Paramatma is deciding what I should do, then why I get punished for the sinful activities that I do? If I am not responsible, if it is Paramatma who is guiding my wanderings, why should I be punished? Is that logical or not? Rasapriya? If you heard? So, in Bhagavad Gita, the shloka is Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam hṛdaya arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. That means the living entity is seated as if on a machine. The body is a machine, and on the machine, this living entity is seated. And there is Paramatma also in the heart of this body. He is guiding or directing the wanderings of the living entity. That means where the living entity should go, what he should do, all this is being directed, guided by Paramatma, and then the living entity is doing. So then, why the living entity should be punished for any sinful activities that are done if it is being done by the guidance of Paramatma? Why I should be punished?
So there's also I guess it's
So Paramatma is telling you and you don't listen to him and you do something else. You're saying like that. And when you do something bad, Paramatma tells you not to do. But what do you mean by you do? Here the main point is Rāmānanda Rāya is saying that I go wherever my heart takes me. So the heart is like the chariot driver that is controlling the reins of the chariot, of the horses. So the living entity is just seated there. It is the mind that is taking him here and there. The heart is taking him here and there. And in the heart is Paramatma. You see the connection? So wherever the heart takes me, that's where I'm going, he says. Because Mahāprabhu asked him, why you didn't go take darshan of Jagannath? Why you came to me directly? He said, I just go wherever the heart takes me, like wherever the chariot driver takes, that's where the passenger goes. So, and then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, quoting this verse, in the heart is Paramatma. So the Paramatma is guiding where you should go. That's how the living entity is carried here and there, according to the order of Paramatma. And you are saying, no, you don't listen to Paramatma and you do against it. Does it happen like that also? So without Paramatma's sanction, can you even blink your eye? No, right? So then why I should be punished? Karma. Why doubt? You should be firm. Exactly. So you see, Paramatma, yes, Paramatma, without Paramatma's sanction, you cannot do anything. Even if you're murdering someone, you won't be able to do it unless you get the sanction of Paramatma. But how Paramatma is sanctioning? He's sanctioning it according to your desire, and your desire is based on your past karma. Based on your past karma, you have certain samskaras or impressions in your heart. See, for example, and that impressions are formed due to association with the modes. There are 3 modes. It's simple to understand. If you are associating with a drunkard, then you'll get a desire to drink. Because of associating with drunkards, then eventually you'll also get a desire to drink, isn't it? And then because you have a desire to drink, then you'll buy wine or you'll steal and one way or the other, you get wine and you'll drink. So the final act of drinking is happening because you desired, but the desire happened because of association with the modes. So because of association, you have some impressions in your heart. So those impressions are guiding your desires, and by that desire, then you're acting on them. So Paramatma is sanctioning based on your desires. And also, not simply desires, you have to have the credit for that to happen. So really, based on your karma, Paramatma is guiding you, directing your wanderings. So you may have had a strong, from past life, somebody harmed you in a certain way. So now you want to take revenge. So you have that samskara in your heart. That means you have that strong urge to take revenge. So Paramatma sanctions it. And then you're able to take revenge on that person, on another person. Without Paramatma's sanction, can you do it? No, you cannot. So now is Paramatma responsible for your killing someone? No. Paramatma is like a judge in the court. Huh? So he will, to one person, he's giving capital punishment, and to another person, he's giving inheritance of $10 billion. Does that mean that the judge likes one person, therefore he's giving him money, and he hates the other person, therefore he's giving capital punishment? It's not like that. Based on their particular, endowments, right? Whatever they have done, based on that, he's giving the results. Similarly, Paramatma is making someone poor, someone rich. How? He's sanctioning things based on that person's karma. So he's neutral. That we have to understand. He's neutral. He's not partial to anyone, Paramatma. However, without his sanction, nothing will happen. Without his sanction, nothing will happen. And Paramatma is seated in the heart. So anyway, here Rāmānanda Rāya is saying that, my Lord, I go wherever my heart, you say that, right? Follow your heart. Follow your heart. So he's saying, I just follow my heart. Wherever my heart takes me, I go. My heart is the chariot driver, and this body is the chariot. So the body goes wherever the heart takes. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, in the heart is Paramatma. And Paramatma is guiding the wanderings of the living entities. Okay, that is Bhagavad Gita 1861. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hṛdaya arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rodhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, to Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. What is that machine made of material energy? This body. This body is made of material energy, and it is a machine. It is a machine. There's a manufacturing date and an expiration date. The body is manufactured, it takes birth at a certain point, and it dies at a certain point. Thus, the living entity wanders within this universe, riding upon a chariot bestowed by material nature. A similar explanation is given in Katha Upanishad. So similar to that, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. So Atmanam means the living entity, Rathinam, he is the passenger. Shariram Ratham Evacha, the body is Ratha, the body is the chariot. Buddhim tu Sārathim Vidhi. Buddhi, intelligence, is the chariot driver. So you see, here Rāmānanda Rāya said heart. Heart means what? You take it as the subtle body. So in the heart you have mind, intelligence, false ego, and chittam. These constitute the subtle body. So when you say heart, you can use the word heart either to mean intelligence or mind or chittam or false ego. You can use heart for anything. So this shloka in Katha Upanishad is saying, who is the chariot driver? The intelligence. Buddhim tu sārathim vidhi. Manaha pragriham evacha. And mind is the reins that are controlling the horse. The chariot driver is holding reins. Yes. So intelligence is the chariot driver, and the reins are the mind. Indriyani haya nahur. And what are the senses? The horses. Haya. Indriyani haya nahur. Vishayam steshu gocharan. And where are the horses going? They are going in a certain direction to a particular destination. So the senses are the horses. Where are the senses going? They're going to the sense objects. The senses are going towards the sense objects. And the mind is the reins, right? Held by the intelligence, the chariot driver. Atmendriya mano yuktam. Atmendriya Manoyuktam. So, who is controlling the senses then? The mind, the reins. Bhokte tyahur manishinaha. Here it is said that the living entity is the passenger riding in the chariot of the body, which is offered by material nature. The intelligence is the charioteer or chariot driver, charioteer. The mind constitutes the reins controlling the horses, and the senses are the horses. Thus, the living entity is the false enjoyer of the material world. So is the living entity the one who's actually driving the chariot? Driving the chariot means using this body, right? Doing things. No. Actually, the living entity is being, because the body is made of material nature. The three modes. This body is made of material nature. Body means both gross body and subtle body. Gross body, right? Externally, you see hands, legs, eyes, ears. This is gross body. Subtle body means these senses are actually there in the subtle body, but also you have mind, intelligence, false ego. This is subtle body. Totally, both gross and subtle bodies together is made of the material nature, material energy. So, who is doing all this work from this example? The horses are pulling the chariot. And is the living entity, the passenger, is he the chariot? He's not the chariot. He's just seated on the chariot, on the machine. The horses are senses. The mind is the reins. Chariot driver, the intelligence. He's the one who's controlling the horses through the reins. He's controlling the horses, the intelligence. Through the mind. Through the mind, intelligence should control the horses. And then there is a passenger seated in the back. Okay. So, in this way, apparently the living entity is enjoying, meaning going to, enjoy means what? The senses going to sense objects, senses coming in contact with sense objects. That is pleasure, that is enjoyment. But senses coming in contact with sense objects, what's happening to the living entity? How is he enjoying? How is he doing it? He's not even doing anything. You see, he's just being carried around by the body. But falsely he's claiming. Why? How he's claiming? He's claiming to be the chariot himself. He's claiming himself to be that chariot driver. He's claiming himself to be those horses. And he's thinking, I am going here. I am controlling. Right? Like that. Actually, he's not doing anything. He's simply passively sitting there in the seat. But falsely, he's claiming that he is the chariot driver, he is the mind, he is the senses, and he is enjoying. That is why here it is said, he's the false enjoyer. He is not enjoying really, but he's claiming to be enjoying. This is the position of a conditioned living entity who is under the impression that he is this body, and whatever is being done by the body, he claims to be doing it himself. This is the conditioned state of the living entity. Thus, the living entity is the false enjoyer of the material world. So, one who is advanced in Krishna consciousness, then that's a different story. One who is advanced in Krishna consciousness can control the mind and intelligence, and in this way, reign in the horses. Yes? So, if you are actually advanced in Krishna consciousness, you know very well that you are different from the body. You are not the mind, you are not the chariot, you are not the intelligence, you are not the horses. But you will dictate to the intelligence where you want to go. And then the intelligence will control the mind, and the mind will control the senses. And then you go where you want to go. And your senses will not go to, that means the horses. You won't let the horses just, go here and there to the sense objects. Rather, you will guide the intelligence to control the mind and senses so that they will go towards Krishna. They will engage in the service of Krishna. That means you are actually controlling. You're not being dragged around by the material energy. You're not being dragged around by the material energy. Rather, under the influence of the internal energy, Swarupa Shakti, yes, the extent to which you become free from the bondage of the external energy, or the extent to which you surrender to the internal energy, to that extent you become free from the bondage of external energy. One who is advanced in Krishna consciousness can control the mind and intelligence, and in this way reign in the horses, the senses, even though they are very powerful. So now he's not. So if he's advanced in Krishna consciousness, he is not being dragged around by the material energy. Rather, he's controlling. He's using that, his body, mind, senses, intelligence, mind, to engage in Krishna's service. One who can control the senses by his mind and intelligence can very easily approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who can control his mind and senses can very easily approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Vishnu, who is the ultimate goal of life. This is the whole thing. The ultimate goal of life is now, because, okay, maybe I should draw. That will be more effective, I feel, in picturing what's happening here, in understanding what's happening here. Although we are running out of time. So, this is Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 11, text 37. So, we'll take this. This is the chariot, okay? And then here is the chariot driver. Chariot driver. And he is holding the reins of the horses. So these are the horses. This is the charioteer. So what are the horses? Senses. Who's the charioteer? Intelligence. And these are the reins. Reins are the mind. And here is the passenger, who is none other than the jīva-atma, the living entity. Jīva-atma, or living entity, is here. Okay. And then the chariot, this is the chariot. This is the body, material body. Okay. So now the point is, in the conditioned state and in the advanced state. In the conditioned state, what is happening in the conditioned state? The passenger is being dragged around, taken around here and there. The passenger is carried here and there by the chariot driver, then horses, chariot driver and horses. Chariot driver and horses is being carried here and there. So is the passenger himself doing anything? No. The passenger is not doing anything. Not the doer. He's not the one he's not the one driving the chariot, right? He's not the doer or driver of the chariot. Okay? The chariot driver is not the driver. The intelligence is through the mind. The intelligence is controlling the horses. And where are these horses going to? They're going to the sense objects. They're going to the sense objects. Sense objects. So the horses or the senses are going towards the sense objects. So when the senses come in contact with the sense objects, then that is apparently or supposedly that is the pleasure, that is the enjoyment. Yes? So senses in coming in contact with the sense objects is senses coming in contact with the sense objects is supposedly enjoyment. But who is enjoying this? The senses are made of external energy. Sense objects are made of external energy. So this sense is coming in contact with sense objects. The living entity is completely different. He is not made of the external energy. He is different altogether. Yes, Jivatma is different from the material energy. So if the senses made of the material energy are coming in contact with the sense objects that are made with material energy, how is the Jivatma enjoying? No, the Jivatma is not enjoying. Therefore, this so-called enjoyment here, this is not real enjoyment of the Jivatma. This is false. This is false enjoyment. Because Jivatma is not external energy. He has nothing to do there. He's simply seated there on the chariot. He's claiming that he's driving and he's enjoying, he's doing. He's not the doer. That's the whole point in the conditioned state. Okay? He's just simply being carried away. And sometimes, and he claims. So what does he do? He claims, he falsely claims. Claims to be the intelligence or the mind or the senses and thinks he is enjoying. But in reality, he he is neither doing nor enjoying. He has nothing to do with this material nature. He's different. He's not the external energy. That's in the conditioned state. What about in the Krishna conscious, advanced Krishna conscious state? So you can say a liberated state. Okay. Let's say Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious state. There, what is happening is, under the influence of the internal energy, the Jivatma is dictating to the intelligence, mind, and senses. And then what he will do? So here, Krishna conscious Jivatma, he is the one who is instructing the intelligence. And then through him, the intelligence is, through the reins, he's controlling the senses. And then the senses, where are the senses going? The senses are not going to sense object. Rather, the senses will all go to Krishna. He will engage the senses in the service of Krishna. That is the difference. So this is Krishna conscious and this is conditioned. Green is conditioned, purple is Krishna conscious. So in the case of a conditioned soul, he is being pulled around by the material energy. This body is made of material energy. Body consists of intelligence, mind, senses, and the senses are going towards sense objects. And when the senses come in contact with sense objects, then this foolish living entity, Jivatma, is claiming that I am enjoying. I am eating laddu. I am enjoying this. In reality, he is not doing anything. He is simply false. That's why it is called false enjoyment. But when he is Krishna conscious, what should happen? So how he is Krishna conscious? Because now he is under the control of the internal energy. So by that, that means he is dictating to his intelligence. And through intelligence, he is controlling the mind, and through mind, the senses. And the senses, instead of going to sense objects, they will be going to Krishna. They will be engaged in the service of Krishna. That is the difference. So how can you tell if you are acting in Krishna consciousness or if you are acting under the influence of material energy? How can you tell? If you are acting under the influence of material energy, your senses will be going after sense objects. And then you will be claiming that you are enjoying the senses. But if you are in Krishna consciousness, you will control your mind, you will control your senses, you will dictate to them what is to be done. Then how do you know what is to be done? Now you know that through sadhu, guru, and shastra. Therefore, it is very important for us to associate with devotees. Then, in that association, and through the instructions given in shastra, by guru, by sadhus, when you hear, then with that is superior intelligence. Now you will dictate to the intelligence. So intelligence is gotten from sadhu, guru, and shastra. Of course, sadhu and guru will also tell what is there in shastra. So ultimately, the ultimate source of what is to be done and what is not to be done is shastra. And we understand shastra through sadhu and guru. On our own, we won't be able to understand. We need the mercy of sadhu and guru. So through sadhu, guru, and shastra, we understand what is to be done, what is not to be done. And then we control, we dictate the intelligence, mind, and senses, what should be done, what is not to be done. But if your mind is dictating to you, your senses are dictating to you what you should do, then your position is like the chariot where the horses are running in whichever way direction you're not going, in whichever way they want to go. So you're also, okay. So we can go to question. Okay. So that's the thing. So let us once again visit this purport here. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, one who is advanced in Krishna consciousness can control the mind and intelligence, and in this way rein in the horses, the senses, even though they are very powerful. One who can control the senses by his mind and intelligence can very easily approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Vishnu. So without sense control, it is a farce to believe that I am actually a devotee, but I have no control on my mind and senses. If I have no control on my mind and senses, then that means how you'll guide your senses towards Krishna, how you can be a devotee. Devotee means he's engaging all his senses, body, mind, resources, everything in the service of Krishna. Jīva-rathī Krishnara Nityadas. But if my senses and mind are controlling me, they are running towards sense objects, how am I a devotee? So here in the purport, the line is, one who can control the senses by his mind and intelligence can very easily approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Vishnu, who is the ultimate goal of life. So that is, he is the ultimate goal of life. So that is why Shastra never recommends unrestricted sense gratification. Actually, sense gratification should be given up completely altogether. But because we are not capable of doing that, in the initial stages, Shastra gives some sort of regulation. The idea of regulation is to cut down on whimsical, indiscriminate sense gratification, doing whatever I feel like doing. To cut down on that, Shastra is giving some rules and regulations. No, you can only enjoy so much, and you can only enjoy in this way. That is restricted. So the whole idea of regulation is not giving you a license. This is the symptom of an insincere person. When there is a little license given, then you hold on to that license and you say, you see, Shastra is recommending us to enjoy like this, so we should enjoy. And once you start enjoying, you'll start pushing the boundaries more and more. Even though Shastra draws the line, you can enjoy here, then you'll try to you'll find out different ways to enjoy within that boundary. So your mind is still going after enjoyment only. Your mind is not thinking of coming out of enjoyment. Now, I'll give you an example, just like on Ekadasi. The whole idea of Ekadasi is upavas. Upavas means you stay at the lotus feet of Krishna. Upavas. Upa means near, vas means staying. But we think upavas means controlling our diet, restricting our diet. So, but the idea of restricting our diet is on that day, you don't think about food and your body and things like that. You dedicate that day in the glorification of Krishna, in chanting, hearing, devotional service. And so much so to do that, you cut down on your eating, sleeping. Devotees stay up all night and they don't even eat or drink all day. This is Ekadasi, this is fasting. So there is a restriction there, no eating, no sleeping. But the idea of that restriction is what? Okay, no, not that. There's a regulation. Okay, if you're not able to do that, then you can eat some fruits, vegetables, and, maybe some Ekadasi grain. Okay, the idea is I'm not able to do complete fast, so I will eat a little bit so that I don't feel dizzy or something and I can still chant. But instead of that, now what have we done? Ekadasi days will be the most busy days for cooking. We'll figure out all different types of wonderful things we can make on Ekadasi. Ekadasi cakes and Ekadasi, all types of things. You come up with thousands of varieties that you can do on Ekadasi. So your mind, instead of focusing on Krishna, on chanting, and you're focusing on what are the different ways of enjoying. You understand? So the purpose is being defeated. The purpose of that restriction is being defeated. The purpose of restriction is, so when there is some regulation given, the understanding is you should give it up altogether. But because you're not able to give up altogether, a little, like a small license is given to do, okay, a little bit. Same with Grihastha Ashram. In Grihastha Ashram, you can have your home, you're given, because when you're either brahmachari, vanaprastha or sannyas. These are renounced orders. So in the renounced orders, there's complete abstinence from association with the opposite sex and things like that. You don't earn money, so you don't have so much freedom. You depend on the Lord. Whatever you get, you go beg, and whatever you get, that's if somebody gives, then you have food that day. They don't give, then you just starve that day. That is renounced order of life. So in grihastha ashram, it is more comfortable. Now you have given a little, but the idea of that is you're not able to give it up altogether. So little bit of discount is given. Okay, you can get married, you can have a wife, but there are rules and regulations you have to follow. It's not whimsical. There are regulations how you should live in a grihastha ashram, how you should earn, how much you should earn, and how you should spend what you earn, and how you should enjoy. You must, when you get married, then you have children, you have to raise them, so on and so forth. Now, instead of that, twisting that, okay, I will marry, I'm a grihastha, but I don't want to have kids, but I want to have a wife and I want to enjoy, because Shastra gives license in grihastha ashram. You get some enjoyment through sex pleasure. So that I want, but I don't want the responsibility that comes with grihastha ashram. I don't want to work and earn and maintain a family. Too much headache raising kids. I have to work so much. I won't get time to chant and all that. Then why get married? Stay a brahmachari, then you get all day to chant. So that is the point. Whenever there is a regulation given, the idea of regulation is to cut it down altogether. But because I'm not able to cut it down, Shastra is giving me some little bit of, license. But the insincere mind holds on to that license and justifies that Shastra is allowing, and he'll just expand that. And so his focus is not on controlling, rather his focus is on enjoying. What are the different ways in which I can enjoy within this boundary? So that's the point here. So that's the last line of the purport here. So what is the real goal of life? The real goal is, ultimate goal of life is to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the ultimate goal of life. So one who controls his mind and senses and intelligence, he can easily approach the Supreme Lord and attain the ultimate goal. So don't separate this. Oh, this is all, there's no need for austerity, dry austerity. We are devotees. We simply chant Hare Krishna. We don't need, no. Controlling mind and senses is basic for everyone, for any spiritualist. Whether you are karmi, yogi, bhakta, absolutely essential. You have to control. Indiscriminate sense gratification will not go well with Krishna consciousness. Even when, yes, we eat Krishna prasadam, but what is the idea of eating Krishna prasadam? I will eat all different types of things, whatever I want to enjoy, and I will put it on the altar, and now I will enjoy. What type of consciousness is that? Krishna consciousness means I will offer Krishna whatever he wants, whatever he likes. And it's mentioned in Shastra what foods Krishna likes. I will make those for Krishna's pleasure, and then I will accept Krishna's prasadam with great gratitude. That is Krishna consciousness. Not that I will offer Krishna whatever I feel like eating every day, all the time. And then how? My mind is going after sense gratification only. It is not going after Krishna. You understand? Mind is not being Krishna conscious. It's being enjoyment conscious. I want to enjoy. So controlling senses, mind, and intelligence is essential. Don't neglect that. One who can control the senses by his mind and intelligence can very easily approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tad Vishnu paramam padam sada pashyanti suraya. Those who are actually advanced approach Lord Vishnu, their ultimate goal. Such people are never captivated by Lord Vishnu's external energy, the material world. Yes. So here in this world, all that there is different types of sense objects. And my mind, my senses, my intelligence is running after these sense objects. That is the position of the conditioned soul. But Krishna consciousness means you have to go against the current. Yes? Conditioned soul's mind is running after sense objects, the green one. And he's just being dragged around by his intelligence, by his mind. But becoming Krishna conscious means now, under the guidance of Sadhu, Guru and Shastra, I dictate to my intelligence. That intelligence is, I dictate means that intelligence is coming from Sadhu, Guru and Shastra. And that intelligence is controlling the mind, the senses. So intelligence is controlled by Shastra. Such intelligence is controlling the mind. And through the mind, the senses are controlled. How they are controlled? They are not allowed to go to the sense objects indiscriminately. Rather, they are guided towards Krishna. All my senses will be engaged in the service of Krishna. So that's how we can understand whether we are going towards Krishna consciousness or materialism. If my mind, intelligence and senses are being guided towards Krishna's service, all my senses, my body, my ears, eyes, nose, my intelligence, my mind, it's not that it will go naturally. That will happen in the advanced stage. But in the initial stages, I will dictate. I will force my mind to go to Krishna. When the mind wants to go the other way, but I will say no. I will say no. I want to go and watch some movie, then I'll say no. Instead, you read Bhagavad Gita. You hear Bhagavatam class. You go and you want to see something else, you say no, go take darshan of the deities in the temple. Like that. Engage your eyes, your ears, your tongue, your skin, your hands, legs, body, mind, intelligence in Krishna's service. The more we push like this, you can understand that you are becoming Krishna conscious. And the more we are giving in to the senses, that means senses going towards sense enjoyment. That means we are not Krishna conscious. We are not being Krishna conscious, just external facade, right? We have the sari and tilak and everything, but inside consciousness is material consciousness. That's why consciousness is important. Krishna consciousness. We should work in that direction if we really want to achieve the ultimate goal of life. And the ultimate goal of life is what? It's Krishna. So we will stop there today. We just revisited. We actually discussed the 37th verse. Tomorrow we'll do 30th verse. Sri Caitanya Charitamrit ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo.